This is number 40 in chapter 9. It's looking at Lewis dot structure, in particular looking at Lewis dot structure with ionic compounds, and I'm going to do part A and part B. Part A looks at strontium oxide, and strontium oxide would have our strontium in the +2 state and our oxygen as oxide in the -2 state. And so we need to show that with our Lewis dot structure. Strontium's fairly easy. We're just going to keep that as +2. And then we're going to show our oxygen, which begins with 6 valence electrons shown around the oxygen here as dots. And then we have to give it 2 extra electrons because it's -2. It gets those 2 electrons from the strontium because it's +2. And so that gives us our oxygen to have the -2 charge. We also need to include a bracket to indicate that those electrons are not being shared between the oxygen and the strontium. Part B is the same type of procedure. We have lithium sulfide. The lithium is +1. There are 2 of them there. So that means our sulfur is going to be in the -2 form, the sulfide form. And so that shows our charges. And so if we begin, we have our lithium, which is +1. We're going to use our brackets to indicate that the sulfur is not sharing its electrons with either one of the lithium cations. Sulfur, just like oxygen, has 6 valence electrons, and then once it receives an electron from each lithium, it gets 1 and then 2, and then is this -2 charge. And so that would be lithium sulfide. The important part to this is realizing that the metals are not going to have octets because they are cationic, and the nonmetal is going to have its octet and then its respective charge because of accepting those electrons from the metal. The brackets indicate that those electrons are not being shared in a covalent system. This is an ionic system. That's number 40.